Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled you're here. Today, we're going to look at something millions of us do every single day, yet we rarely stop to think about it on a microscopic level. We are unpacking the science behind toxic buildup in synthetic hair extensions. Honestly, if you wear protective styles, this is absolutely crucial information you need to know. Okay, let's dive right in. Think about any stunning protective style. You know the ones. Beautiful box braids, flawless wigs, seamless sew-ins. We call them protective because they're supposedly shielding our natural hair from daily wear, tear, and damage. But I kind of want to challenge that assumption today. If we zoom right past that beautiful exterior, past all the styling products, and look directly at the skin, what's actually going on? What is really hiding in that hidden layer that we just can't see? Our source material features this fantastic quote: "Beneath every style, there's a scalp waiting to breathe." And wow, that really just hits the nail on the head. For decades, the hair care industry has focused almost entirely on the hair itself, right? How to style it, how to get that perfect shine, how to lay down those edges. But the truth is, healthy hair doesn't actually start with styling. It starts with preparation and a completely clean foundation. And unfortunately, that foundation is consistently being suffocated. So let's get into Section 1, the hidden scalp layer, and the foundation of protective styles. Let's zoom in from that macro hairstyle straight down to the biology of the scalp. What is actually creating this suffocating environment? Well, every single day, your scalp gets hit with a whole barrage of elements. First, you've got your standard product residue, the gels, the edge control, the leave-in conditioners. Then you add environmental impurities just floating around in the air. But here is where it gets really tricky with protective styles. You're also dealing with microscopic synthetic hair particles, plus trapped sweat and sebum. When you've got a tight install, say cornrows under a wig, and you leave that sealed environment completely untouched for a solid 4 to 8 weeks, your scalp goes from just being covered to being totally biologically overwhelmed. Which brings us to Section 2, toxins in synthetic hair and the chemical breakdown. If we look at the actual microscopic chemistry of what is sitting on your head, well, independent labs like Consumer Reports have tested popular synthetic hair extensions, and the results are honestly pretty shocking. They found lead. Yes, literally lead. This is a highly dangerous known neurotoxin. The synthetic hair used to create these gorgeous protective styles isn't just plain plastic. It's often manufactured with heavy metals and chemical coatings. And over time, those toxins can absolutely accumulate right on the surface of your scalp. But lead isn't the only concern here. We also have to talk about phthalates. In simple terms, these are known hormone-disrupting chemicals. Phthalates are super common in the adhesives used to secure wigs, they're in the coatings on the synthetic hair, and even in heavy styling products. And when you have these chemicals sitting tightly packed against your skin for weeks on end, they can actually interfere with your body's natural hormonal balance. Not great, right? Just to complete our understanding of this whole chemical profile, there are a few other hazardous substances we usually find in the mix. We're talking about VOCs, or volatile organic compounds, which actually include known carcinogens like benzene. There's also formaldehyde, which is a really harsh respiratory irritant, often used as a preservative, plus a whole cocktail of synthetic fragrances. And remember, all of this is trapped right against your skin. Let's move on to Section 3, how the scalp absorbs, or the biology of toxin transfer. Now, you might be wondering, so what if these chemicals are just sitting on my hair? Well, it matters immensely, because the human scalp is not some impenetrable shield. Biologically speaking, it's actually one of the most highly absorbent areas of your entire body. Think about your day-to-day life. You hit the gym, you go outside in the sun, you sleep on a pillow. All of that creates heat, sweat, and friction. And that triad acts as a massive catalyst. It breaks down those chemical coatings on the synthetic hair and the adhesives, changing them into a state where they can be absorbed straight through your hair follicles. We call this systemic transfer, literally moving toxins from the hair directly into your body's internal systems. And the long-term consequences of this cumulative absorption, they're severe. First off, you've got that systemic absorption increasing your body's overall toxic load. Second, you face the hormonal risks tied to that long-term phthalate exposure. Third, it can actually stunt your hair growth. Our sources refer to this toxic buildup as the silent enemy of healthy hair, simply because a blocked, completely overwhelmed follicle physically cannot produce strong hair. And finally, there's the chronic scalp irritation. That persistent itching, inflammation, and flaking that just totally compromises your scalp's natural protective barrier. All right, so what do we do about it? Section 4, the science of detox and resetting that foundation.
How do we actually reset this foundation, mechanically and chemically, before our next install? You might be thinking, well, I'll just wash my braids with a good shampoo. But if we compare regular shampoo to a specialized protective style detox, the difference is night and day. Regular shampoo is formulated to clean the surface layer. It gets rid of everyday dirt and oil. But does it pull out deeply embedded heavy metals like lead? No way. Does it strip away industrial chemical coatings? Nope. Can it deeply clean without roughing up and loosening your braids? Usually not. But a specialized mineral detox, like the ToxiTress system mentioned in our sources, is chemically engineered to do all of the above.
The secret here is all in the specific chemistry of natural earth minerals, specifically bentonite clay, kaolin clay, and activated charcoal. I want you to think of this combo as being like a highly absorbent sponge mixed with a powerful heavy metal magnet. Because these minerals naturally carry a negative ionic charge, they literally bind to positively charged toxins, heavy metals, and chemical impurities. They draw all that junk right out of the follicles and off the synthetic hair, and they do it without relying on harsh, stripping chemical detergents. So how is this complex chemical detox actually achieved at home? It's a simple 3-step science-backed ritual. Step 1, you apply a Purify Oil Elixir. This uses botanical oils to pre-clean and loosen up those stubborn oil-based toxins and adhesives. Step 2, you apply the Extract Mineral Cleanse Paste. This is where those clay magnets do the real heavy lifting, physically binding to the heavy metals. And finally, step 3, you finish with a Restore Botanical Infusion. This part is absolutely crucial because it rebalances your scalp's pH and calms any inflammation. And the absolute best part, because it relies on chemical binding rather than intense scrubbing, it works effectively right through the hair. No vigorous rubbing required, so your protective style stays completely intact. And to put all of this into perspective, this entire deep, scientific, heavy metal extraction process takes under 90 minutes. That is a massive point when it comes to efficiency. You do not need an all-day salon visit for this. It's an incredibly efficient, high-impact reset that you can do right before a new install, so you can guarantee you're building your beautiful style on a totally clean, toxin-free foundation. So I want to leave you with one final vital question to think about. Is your protective style actually protecting you? We spend so much time, so much energy, and honestly so much money on what we apply to our hair. But true scalp health and really systemic wellness starts with what we intentionally remove. It is time to rethink the foundation, prioritize a clean reset, and demand a whole lot more from your protective routine. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you next time.